This is India, a country that is just as often loud, raucous, and wonderfully unpredictable as it is sublime. Home to 5 million street food carts, 10 million more chai stands, and 200 million horns. This is Meherwan Irani, former car salesman turned James Beard-nominated chef and restaurateur. This year he decided it was time to bring his Carolina boys to India. James Grogan, chef at Chai Pani Asheville and Indian neophyte. Daniel Peach, chef of Chai Pani Decatur and the Hindi-speaking veteran. And yours truly, Michael Files, tasked with filming these madmen as they hit 10 cities in 11 days. By planes, trains, and cycle rickshaws, eating everything in sight along the way. So sit back and enjoy the ride. This is Chai Pani's Cutting Chai.
So we were halfway through our trip, and at this point we had flown to Mumbai, driven by car to Pune, driven by car to Ahmednagar, driven back to Pune, taken the plane to Delhi, and now we were about to get on the holy grail of Indian light transportation, the Indian Railways, on our way to Dehradun to my aunt's beautiful home.
Check this out. It's 2 bed sheets, 1 hand towel, and look at this, on Facebook. I'm gonna like the shit out of this.
Remember, Matu picked us up at the station. He's one of my, 18 cousins. See, I haven't seen the guy in 30 years. And we come to Dehradun and we kind of like reconnected as if I'd just seen him the year before. Dehradun is my mom's childhood home. It's a small town in the valley of the foothills of the Himalayas. I went there every summer as a kid, and we were looking forward to getting there to my aunt's farm, which is still there, and getting to really delve into the farm-to-table aspect of Indian cuisine. When we get there, we're greeted by them, all the big hugs, warm hugs. But when a guest comes, no matter who they are, how close you are to them, even if they're family, you must first come sit in the sitting room. Right. And then we just sit there and stare at each other. And then we get up and it's back to normal. There's something almost magical about Dehradun. My family literally created this farm out in the middle of nowhere in the forest, and a small farming community grew up around that area. The family actually lives off the farm, eats off the farm, and prepares food off the farm. This is a garden. She's saying they're actually weeding it now and they're getting ready to sow. This is the season now to reseed the garden. So carrots, radishes, methi, cauliflower. The first meal when we arrived was breakfast. Matu made basically Indian bachelor food. He made the masala omelette with sweet bread and with butter. I love masala omelettes. It's a legacy of the British. It's a really common breakfast food. It was kind of cool that Matu, stepped up and made us breakfast that morning. So I want to talk about Matu, my cousin, for a second. I mean, Matu is like the ultimate man. And we jokingly refer to him like the Dos Equis man of India, the most interesting man in the world. The guy can cook.
He knows how to chill perfectly. He can fix anything. He can hunt,
Mikey had this broken tripod where the pin fell out of it, and Mikey's going, oh, Jesus Christ, there goes the rest of the trip. Later, he hands the thing back to it, and Mikey can't even tell which pin he replaced.
He knows everybody. Everywhere we went in Dehradun, we went to Mussoorie, we went to Rishikesh, Matu would be waving at people would be coming up.
And we got wasted with Matu
On the front porch.
So while my aunt and my cousins and my in-laws were in the kitchen getting the big meal of the day ready, Matu took us out foraging to show us where everything came from. We were walking down the side of the street, and Matu just casually picked some beans that were growing off a wall and goes, oh, these are this particular type of green bean, and we kind of make a stew with them. I mean, here's an entire family meal, lunch. Sabji out of these green beans just growing on the side of the road. They've got the mandvi, this wild grass that grows that they take the pods out of and just mill it in the house and can make rotis out of it. And you can. And there's the seeds of the bigger beans. And इससे भी कुछ बनाते हैं?
सब दाल बनती है ना अगर इसको वैसे नहीं यूज करो.
You can make a dal out of these. That was pretty amazing. We got our turmeric fresh, and our ginger's over there, and that's wild garlic. And at one point I stopped and oh my God, I mean, anybody walking down the street could pluck something, take it home, and make a meal out of it. Farmer's market wet dream here. It's just crazy. And then we sat down and ate that meal.
And everything tastes so unique.
So the meal was amazing, and at one point I turned to my aunt and said, "What didn't you get from literally a 5-minute walk radius of the house?" And she goes, "The oil, but even that, certain times of the year, if you wanted to, we could press our own oil and the salt." And you could sense the pride in them in sourcing as much locally as possible. Forget locally. Sourcing or backyard to table would be the more appropriate analogy. And it was so natural. It wasn't they were going out of their way to do this.
Jingora, it's a tiny little grain mountain rice. So I'm asking Minanti, where do you get it from? She's a good one, and she kind of points out there. And I'm like, what the hell are you pointing to? And it's literally the mountains. I mean,
It was so magical, inspiring. Being in the farm is probably the closest that I'll ever get to reconnecting to how and where food comes from. And even though for us it's something that we try to emulate in America, these guys are living it. It was the most restorative part of the trip.
I slept at like 9:15 to 6:30. Yeah, it was like raining around the porch.
That's why I love the Heirloom so much. Things just slow down. We were just hanging out on the porch most of the day. We weren't really in any particular agenda. You just start noticing the details in life that you just don't have time to notice when things are rushing by so quickly. There's this aching sense of loss of a lifestyle that I feel is rapidly slipping away. And going back to the Heirloom, there's a sense that that's still preserved. And as long as people like Matu are still around, I think that style of that sense of life is still around.
My favorite meal of the trip, the meal that I remember the most, was a very simple meal that Daniel Peach and Meherwan's aunt Mina cooked right before we left Dehradun. It was just a potato sabji that Daniel cooked, like cut up some potatoes, cooked them up with some spices, and then some fresh rotis that Mina made. The coup de grace of the meal was the sesame tahini chutney that was just unlike anything I've ever had. Eating that meal on the train from Dehradun to Amritsar with James and Daniel, the three amigos, listening to the world go by, that was by far my favorite meal of the trip.